with it in the hood with it. Welcome back to the Collective Clips, where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding! Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content I'm kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support that I'm getting. We're going up on this channel and it's all because of you. And for that, I am very humbled, man. I appreciate that. Joe Rogan, right? Man, my favorite channel on YouTube by far, man. I like Joe Rogan's podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience, right? And it's an experience. Every time I see it, man, I get put up on game. I like a clecha right there. Joe is all over the place with his podcast, but it's a good thing because he gives you a whole lot of that knowledge you can't get in college. And, you know, I've been watching Joe Rogan for years now. I just enjoy the entertainment value, the conspiracy theories, all the bullshit that he's got going on. And the guests that he brings on are always a little bit out there. And I appreciate that. You know, outside of the box. That's the way you educate yourself. That's the way you get put up on game. That's the way you make it. You know, you don't keep yourself closed up. I learned that a long time ago. If you just keep yourself confined to the audio, then all you're going to know is audio tactics, right? You need to go out there and see what everything else is about, man, so you're aware. So the other day, Joe Rogan has a guest, and he has several guests. You know, when you're a big-time podcaster, you're doing it like that, you know, interviews are in abundance. Everybody wants to be. I, myself, would love to be on the Joe Rogan Experience. I don't know what the fuck I'll talk about, but I'll tell him jokes if need be, right? So he brings a guy on there named Sheldon Johnson. Now, Sheldon Johnson is now an activist, or was an activist, for prisoner rights. Someone who did 20 years in the state of New York City, or in the state of New York, excuse me, and had got his shit together. Had somewhere during that time decided to change his life. Now, I don't see the big deal in that. There's a lot of people that do that. They go in prison. I myself did that. And they finally realize, you know what? I'm just killing my vibe, man. Don't let me kill your vibe. Don't let me kill. They're hurting themselves, right? And they're just tired of hurting themselves. They're tired of struggling, going through the bullshit. So they say, you know what? I think I'm going to help myself out today. I'm just going to stop everything. I'm going to get my shit together. So Sheldon Johnson did that. He got his shit together. He decided that if for no other reason, he was going to go right instead of left. And that's what he was doing. Okay, so somewhere along them lines, he starts doing activism for inmates' rights. He starts to educate himself onto the who's, the what's, the where's, the where's, the hows, and whatever. And he gains a name for himself, gains some momentum, gets out of prison after doing 20 years. And I mean, starts voicing his opinion out there, starts fighting for people, gets a great job, nonprofit organizations, and all types of things. How he caught Joe Rogan's eyes, I don't know. You know, it's just another motherfucker that got out of prison doing good. But somewhere along the line, because of what he was doing, you know, Joe Rogan, I know, is big on no recidivism. He's big on helping prisoners that are free be free. You know, on changing the ways that people view certain things that are taboo in society. I appreciate that about him. I think that's why I fucked with him the mostest, right? So anyways, this guy somehow facilitates a slithering into Joe Rogan experiment, or his experience, and he does a good interview, right? Where he's talking about, I'm changed and I would never do crime anymore. It's not even in my ways of thinking, whatever. I remember I seen it like halfway, you know, a little bit of the interview, a little bit of the show, and was like, okay, this is not for me. This just seems like a vato that's just doing too much. I don't know, it was something about him that irked me. Something I was like, it's just another vato that I think is conning the masses. Found a way to get in to make a little bit of money off the sweat and the brow of the fucking real convict who's doing time. Now, I can't take none from him. He did 20 years. And about after the end of the story, you're going to realize he was as real as most, right? Even if not realer. So while he's feeding this propaganda to Joe and got Joe all hype and wet and happy, right? Because Joe, you ever notice that? When Joe gets on, he starts fucking wanting to climb on the chair and shit. He's all interested. And I think that's what interests me about Joe Rogan's podcast, is that he's focused. He's laser focused on the guest. And he's truly interested in what they got to say, what they got going on. That, you know, you can appreciate that. So after the dude does his spill or whatever, you know, like I said, he's just talking about doing good and what it takes to change your views and to not go back to prison and to stay out, you know, which is always good game. You know, that's what I do here. I'm not trying to tell you how to stay out. I'm trying to tell your ass not how to go in. Or when you do go in, what to prepare for in prison. Because it's different behind them walls. So anyways, before I ramble, Joe does his due diligence with the guy. And you would think that this guy, you know, is the type of person we need in society. That, yeah, he made mistakes. Because everybody does. But that motherfucker right there changed his ways. Shit. Hell nah. That motherfucker right there. Joe doesn't know who he brought on that motherfucker. That kind of reminds me of the Howard Stern show when he got that phone call from that serial killer. Remember that? The vato was like, yeah, the new Batman movie was out. Howard was like, you don't say, right? Howard started robbing. She was all wet and fucking bothered, right? Now, a month after interviewing this guy on the Joe Rogan Experience, he hits the newspapers again. But this time, it's not for activism or for helping some old lady cross the road or for pulling the cat up out the motherfucking tree, right? It's for something a whole lot different. So supposedly, he had some type of conflict or some type of something going on with the guy that he was incarcerated with, and he decided to pull up at that guy's pad, right? And people thought it was suspicious because they seen him coming in and out of this pad several different times. In fact, one of the times that he went in and out of that pad, and it was this other guy's house, right? This other guy's apartment. He was seen wearing a dark colored coat, dark glasses, and a blonde wig. Well, you already know what time it is. Identifications, he was trying to change shit. Now, everything is seen on camera. This guy entering the building in and out, in and out. But the guy who lives there hasn't been seen for over a week. So people started to become concerned. And that's what happens when you have nosy neighbors. Mind your own fucking business. I say, that's my thought that I'm over there pounding. Excuse me, sir. Did you hear that? Sounded like an earthquake. Nah, it was that fat chick right there. The white chick right there, the one eating Oreos. Yeah, that's kind of, hey, I did it like this, I did it like that, and I did it with the wiffle ball bat. Oh, okay, because the way because my whole house shook. Yeah, it's going to shake again tonight. It's going to shake all week long between 7 and 11, so just be ready. Okay, and that's how it is. But nosy neighbors sometimes are a good thing because they're staying aware of what's going on in their neighborhood, what's going on around them. You need that sometimes. You need people to watch out for you because you never know when you're in a bad situation. Anyways, people notice this guy going in and out, which happens to be Sheldon Johnson, right? But they don't notice the guy who occupies that residence. So they call in the police to do a welfare check. Now, a welfare check, for those of you that don't know, doesn't come on the 1st or 15th all the time. Welfare check, a wellness check. What the fuck? Hey, you know I'm from the ghetto. It's at this point right now. It was at that exact moment we knew Gunner was from the ghetto. That motherfucker didn't say wellness check. He said a welfare check. So let's get straight up. All I love is tortas, cockroaches, and welfare checks. Anyway, so they do a wellness check. And for those of you that don't know what a wellness check is, it's when, they believe something might have went on. We had to do that at my work one time, man. We had a homeboy, never missed a day of work, just didn't come for like 2 days. First day, we gave him the pass. No call, no show. Second day, okay, you're getting on our nerves, fat boy. Third day, what the fuck's this fat fucker's fired? Where's he at, right? We sent someone to his pad, and he had been dead since Friday. So there was mosquitoes, cockroaches, worms, and all kinds of other shit on him. It was ugly, man. Rest in peace to the homeboy, though, man. So I know what a wellness check is. So they end up sending cops, to his pad. And when they knock at the door, Sheldon Johnson answers this man's door. And upon answering it, of course, they go in. What are you doing here? What's your name? He gives them his name. Excuse me. They sit his ass down. And they discover a torso. Okay, a torso. Do you know what a torso is? It's this part. It's your pecho. Okay? It's your nipples, right? They discovered this fucking dude's body. No heads, no arms, just a torso and some legs. Okay, you're under arrest, buddy. Get against the wall so we can feel you, right? So they put him against the wall, arrest them, go to search his house, and upon searching his house, they find the head, the hands, the feet. What I believe he was doing was he was going back and forth, dismembering this guy, trying to take this guy's body up out of that apartment without being noticed, right? So that trench coat, I'm sure, has a gang of DNA in it, right? Cold part of the story is this guy kills this guy. Or was in the same way, he killed him. There ain't even no allegedly about that. His body was in 2 different places. He turned them into twins, right? Danny DeVito, Arnold. So it was just what it was. All that high power shit, all that, man, I'm changed. I'm a changed man. And they find fucking some dude in his freezer at his pad. I don't know. You don't know what to believe nowadays. Vatos get on fucking Joe. He made it all the way to Joe. I can't even make it to Joe Rogan. Joe, where you at? Right? This fucker made it all the way to Joe Rogan with all the bullshit propaganda he was spewing and spitting about helping people. And meanwhile, he had a body in his freezer. You know, Joe, that's interesting. But it's really common. I mean, if you think about it, there's a lot of people that, you know, once you become a convict, once you're incarcerated, I told you before, you become desensitized to a lot of shit that goes on. You know, what I've seen and what the normal convict has seen is way different from what Joe Schmo or the normal citizen has seen. You know, the first time you see a man get blasted on the yard, you know, a pegada happens and you see a man get real steel put in him, you know, it fucking blows your mind. You're like, oh, shit! That about the fucking, oh, hey, you guy, he got slopped. Oh, man, they were hitting that vato so hard, he was doing the truffle shuffle like Chuck. Right? They were fucking hitting him. It's no joke. When you get stabbed in prison or in the youth authority or wherever it may be, right? It's a different experience. Actually, it's not, because you're fucking adrenaline's pumping. You don't even feel it most of the time unless they really fucking get you, right? Because I've been stabbed several times, so I just was like, later on, the homie's like, you're bleeding. I am, serio? And that's it. But prison's a whole different story. They're not just going to scrape you. They're trying to fucking put you in the oven and bake you, right? They're trying to really get you. So when you see these things so many different times, or see people get snaked on or hit or drug in cells, and you hear screams at night, no, just put it in. We don't have a lot of time, right? You fucking hear screaming, or you fucking hear people like Wes Watson fucking yelling, just fucking stick it up there now, right? You're like, okay, you get used to it. Okay, you already know. It's like, okay, we're going to have bologna for lunch. We're going to have meatloaf for dinner. Wes Watson's going to stick forearm in his ass. Okay, that's normal. It's like part of the program. So you become desensitized to certain situations because you see a lot. Now, this guy, Sheldon Johnson, for whatever the case may be, and I don't know, maybe he went to go visit a friend and his friend said, hey, bro, let's do what we used to do in prison. And Sheldon was like, nah, bro, I'm out now. I like women again, right? And he's like, come on, bro. What the fuck? You were gay for this day? Come on, Holmes. You came over to play, right? And they didn't want to play with Tonka toys. He wanted to play with this Willy Wonka boy, right? So that was it. And he might have just flashed and went into kill mode. Or he went over there with the intentions to rob him, you know, because he had previously done 20 years in prison for robbing stores and whatnot, right? So whatever the case may be, I know that probably blows Joe Rogan's top off. Joe Rogan's going to make a whole show. You don't even understand. I could tell the way he was sweating, right? Joe's going to be on some bullshit. But yeah, it's a true story, man. That man was found with a body or parts of a body in his refrigerator, his freezer. And they got this motherfucker. Look at him on the thumbnail. They got him coming out looking like Clayton Bigsby. They fucking threw the Klan shit on him, bro, and had about to coming out like he just got done hanging someone. That's not cool, right? That actually was a hazmat suit that they had to throw on him. Because I questioned it at first. What the fuck? Is this the black KKK? What's going on here? Hey, brother, you drink coffee too, Wood? Right? I didn't know what was going on. But then I realized that that was a hazmat suit that they put on because, you know, there's body parts. Shit's contaminated. And that's what they do, man. I remember I told the story before. The neighbor unalived himself, man, and something was smelling weird. And we were eating oysters and shit in the front yard, barbecuing, chilling. And meanwhile, he was in there fucking doing the Humpty dance, right? And that was just it. So, you know, when it comes to Joe Rogan, that doesn't mean I won't watch his show anymore because his father was a killer. You know, it just means somebody decided to do it. You know, you notice a lot of these big podcasts, these are stories we would never hear about. It would just be another guy who decapitated another guy in New York City, which I'm sure happens on pretty much every other corner in Brooklyn, right? But because Joe decided to interview this guy, it's now become something different. It's taken on a different life of its own. Where Joe finds these guys, Joe Rogan, I don't know. You know, I don't know. Again, it's esclechado. It's education. You know, he does it for educational purposes. And he actually sat down with the guy to give the guy a voice to be heard. There's not very many people, activists that are fighting for prisoners' rights that get that voice, that get a chance to actually get on a grand stage. Someone like Joe Rogan, who millions of people watch every day and click on and view. So much traffic, such a good traffic source to spew and spit some realisms. You know, a lot of us talk about prison here, and we get thousands of views, very, very minimal views. And we got a lot of good game. We're trying to help in the end. You know, a lot of people are just trying to glorify and tell a war story because it's entertainment, and that's cool if you watch it for that. But there's a lot of us that will entertain you, but at the same time game you up. Knowledge you can't get in college. And the reason is, I don't want to see anyone go through the struggle and hardships I went through. I'm sorry, homie. I don't want to see a young kid go to prison and hear fucking Wes Watson fucking stick. Is it in? Is it in? Right? And it's fucking Sully trying to assist him and pushing a pedazo on his ass. I don't want to, you know, because something about that just don't seem right. It doesn't sit right with me. You know? So there are people that will tell you stories just because they want you to, they're trying to scare you into the realities of prison. I'm not. I'm just telling you straight the fuck up what it is, right? Period. And being funny while doing it because that's just my nature. Like Ric Flair. Woo! Now, this guy Sheldon Johnson, what's gonna happen? Oh, more prison time forever. He's done. He's a done deal. So all that trying to help people get out and stop people from going in, you know, constantly and teach them how to get a job and be a productive member of society and use delayed gratification skills to obtain the things they want in life. All this bullshit propaganda that he's been spitting didn't help him. That Vato said, fuck that, I'm cutting heads off, right? I'm not. Some Vatos are crazy and different. You can't look into a man's eyes and see what he's thinking. You can look into a man's eyes and see a reflection of yourself or even see something ain't right. You know, I was watching, I'm going to do a video on it, a full video, but I was watching some preacher, man. I don't know what his name is. You might know. He's the one that fucking just crazy. The principalities of power raises a fucking nut. And his eyes, they're dots. He has blue eyes with these dots, man. And that about the fucking trips me out. I ain't gonna lie. He had me lighting candles all around my house saying prayers. That was the devil, man. You know what I mean? Say that. Like I used to tell my daughter when we used to kick back and watch TV, that there's the devil. Not the devil, because I don't want to scare her. I said the devil. That's what he is, right? People just trip me out nowadays. But Joe was sitting in the midst of someone who had a different frame of mind, a different way of thinking, but was able to manipulate himself all the way to the Joe Rogan show, and Joe bought it, right? Again, it could have been something as simple as just, it wasn't an accident to cut someone's head off, or maybe it is. I mean, he just slipped, fell with the chainsaw. Oh, fuck, bro. Call his boy, hey, guess what happened, bro? I fucked up. You know Jaime? Yeah, hey, yeah, bro, yeah. So we're over here eating Captain Crunch, bro, and watching Captain Caveman, right? Yeah, get to the point. Yeah, I chopped his head off. What the fuck, bro? How'd you do that? No, you don't understand. He was showing me his new chainsaw he got at Ace Hardware. And he started it. And I said, well, let me hold it. And then like fucking, as he did, I tripped and yeah, his head's gone. Oh, okay, bro. So, all right, well, are his arms still intact? Yeah, his arms are still there. Okay, yeah, well, fuck it. Cut those off too, bro. Just to see if that motherfucker's sharp. Right? It could have been something as simple as that, but no. Let's not make light of it because there is a victim in this, even though I'm the one doing it, right? This motherfucker's crazy. And it's not even craziness. Like, I don't think he was a serial killer or some fucking wild maniac. I think he just did a movida and was just trying to chop the body down. They do that shit on the East Coast. Sleep with the fishes, right? And the West Coast, you know what I'm saying? We're different. We're different. Motherfuckers just smoke you in broad daylight, throw the gun off a bridge and keep stepping like the hit, right? That's it. In the East Coast, they're going to chop your body down, put you in the junkyard, crush you, you know, old mob shit. On the West Coast, shit, bro. Motherfuckers will walk right into Wiener Schnitzel, order a chili cheese fries, blow your face off, jump in the Raflam, and get a mamon from the torta down Freeway 99. Just what it is. Anyways, with that being said, wow, what a fucking crazy thing, man. This guy made it all the way to Joe Rogan, and meanwhile, while being interviewed, he has a body in his fucking refrigerator. Who would have thunk it, right? Just imagine so many different people that these big-time podcasters have interviewed. You know, look into it, that have really, they're just bullshitting them. Meanwhile, this guy's like, yeah, I've changed my whole life. There's a fucking head right next to the hungry man. You know, no, I would never do that. There's a hand next to the orange juice. Pulp free. Nah, bro, I'm cool with you, man. This motherfucker had a foot right next to some fish sticks. No wonder it stunk. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming. And remember, at the end of the day, strive to struggle, struggle to strive. I got a super duper duper banger coming this afternoon, man. Make sure that you're up on it. Double banger, you know how the gun does it, man. I appreciate all the support that I'm getting. I tell these stories not to glorify prison or glorify whatever the fuck this story was, right? But I'll tell you to put you up on game. You know what it is. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in. And that's the betterment of all people. And I'm not sitting here with the head in my body. Or am I? You know, a head in my freezer. One never knows, does one? I'll tell you right now, feds, if you came knocking on the door, you ain't going to find nothing in there but 4 hungry mans, some hamburguesa so I can make chorizo spaghetti, and like 4 things of chorizo that I need to use fast too. Bang, bang, the gun.